Tony G is looking down at 5-4 offsuit.
How does it go? Today is a good day.
Oh yeah, that's the Ice Cube song?
Yeah.
Preflop sets the stage for a classic clash between mathematical precision and pure chaotic feel. Scott Siver opens the action to 1,200 with pocket queens. It is a premium hand that demands value. However, waiting in the wings is Tony G, a player who thrives on making his opponents uncomfortable with unorthodox holdings. Tony looks down at 5-4 suited.
Played a little ball, messed around, and got a triple-double.
A hand most players would muck against an early position raise and decides to make the call. He is looking to crack a big pair or outplay Siver on a low board.
What did I just do there with my brain? Change my mind 4 times?
That seems no good. Where's the confidence?
To the flop.
The flop comes a texture that appears safe for Siver, but secretly connects with Tony's garbage hand. Siver is trying to start the trap by inducing a bluff. Tony G is happy to oblige, firing 4,000 into the pot. Cannon, having missed completely, gets out of the way. Siver, holding the overpair, makes the call. He is comfortably ahead of Tony's range, but by just calling, he allows Tony to see another card.
Here we go.
The turn card is the queen, a card that sends the hand into the stratosphere. By checking the turn, Siver gives Tony a free roll to the river. He fails to charge the draw, assuming his set is invincible. The river is the ace, the most disastrous card in the deck for Scott Siver. While it looks like a safe card that might have given an opponent top pair, Tony G, realizing he has backed into the nuts, fires a value bet of 10,000. Siver now springs the trap he has been building since the flop. He check raises to 36,000, confident that his set of queens is the winner. He expects Tony to call with a worse set or 2 pair. When Tony G makes the call, the reality sinks in.
If it didn't come a flush, I would have got it all in. I mean, that's how sick is that?
How sick is that? How unlucky are you? It was sick for one of them. Tony G happy to pick up that.
Phil Laak is looking down on pocket 4s. Pre-flop, this is classic loose poker where both players are incentivized to keep pots playable. Salomon opens King-Jack suited, which is perfectly fine. It smashes a lot of flops, plays well post-flop, and has some board coverage in these lineups where everyone is splashing around.
Lock it in. I had it. Yeah.
Straddle is, 15. What is it now, 15? Yeah, makes more sense. The 14 was not enough. 15's perfect.
Laak defends the pocket 4s, also completely standard. He is deep in position, and small pairs either flop sets or turn into interesting bluff catchers.
All right, Muffin. I don't know what I'm thinking about.
Laak calls with pocket 4s. King Jack of spades for Salomon.
Pot. You don't have to do that, Muffin. You know, you can play fair. I'm a regular shopper. I get the baker's dozen often.
No one is doing anything heroic yet, but the seeds are already there for that strange dynamic.
But you know I'm sick, and I have to see the flop.
Where one player has the real hand, and the other is the one driving the action.
I want to punish him so bad. I want to punish you, kid.
The flop comes much better for Laak than it looks, and much worse for Salomon than it feels. Salomon misses entirely. He whiffs this texture completely, and when Laak checks, he sensibly takes a free card. The turn is where everything gets interesting. Salomon suddenly wakes up with top pair and a strong kicker, but the third diamond also rolls off, and that is crucial. When Laak checks, Salomon now has a clear value bet.
That's a lot. Muffin is good.
Phil likes his draw.
He hurts me.
Heads up to the river. 6 of hearts. Phil makes a straight.
Check.
Jack.
No good.
Oh, there it is.
Miserable. I missed the bet. I just know you like to bet against me so much, you know? Wow, you had a real hand that time, not your normal 9-deuce junk that you try and hurt me with, you know?
Phil Laak is looking down at ace-10 offsuit.
How much you have, Phil, today? 100?
Pound. He's the man, right?
I'll count it in a second. After this hand, I'll count it.
It's okay, Phil. I don't care that much. I know you're dying to count it anyway.
Pre-flop sets the stage for an intense battle between a Hollywood director and a poker eccentric. Cvetes raises to 2,000 with queens. In a full ring game, this is a premium monster, but in a battle of the blinds, it is an absolute sledgehammer. He is looking to extract maximum value from the big blind. Phil Laak, holding ace-10 offsuit, finds himself in a mandatory defense spot. While ace-10 can be a trouble hand that wins small pots and loses big ones, Folding an ace to a single raise in a heads-up scenario is simply too tight. The flop falls a Broadway-heavy texture that creates an immediate stalemate. The turn is the 6. Laak decides the free pass is over. This is a classic probe bet. Laak is testing the waters, representing a weak king. Cvetes is not going anywhere. He views Laak's bet as a stab at a pot nobody seemed to want. The river is the queen, the most dramatic card in the deck. It hits Cvetes perfectly, improving him to a set of queens. He believes he has just spiked a monster that will win a healthy pot. Unfortunately,
24,200.
I call.
And Nick Cvetes runs worse than the car in the driveway of every horror movie.
I mean, how good can one fish run? Huh? Is that sick or what?
Vanessa is looking down on pocket aces.
So it's me and you. I gotta raise it 1,200.
When isn't called predictable? Many things.
So if you re-raise, then you build the pot so big, and then you're gonna get bluffed out in a big pot.
Tony G thinks he's going to outplay Vanessa post-flop with position and a junk-suited looking hand.
Keep the pots low. I bet 2,000. Yeah. That's fair, you know. I think it's better betting in a dark. A dark raise, that's hard and commitment.
The flop is the dream board for Tony. He smashes bottom 2 pair versus most opponents. This is where he starts fast playing, trying to punish overpairs and top pair by ballooning the pot immediately. He leads 2K, to which Vanessa instantly raises to 5K. From her point of view, this looks super standard. She has overpair, she doesn't block spades, there are straight and flush combos Tony G can show up with, and she wants to deny equity.
You ready?
From Tony's point of view, that raise is exactly what he was hoping to induce. He doesn't just call, he makes it 20K.
You ready? If you win the hand, you keep me quiet.
Don't believe you. That bluff I'll call.
That size is Tony basically telling a story of, I'm not scared of you, I have a real hand. The problem he doesn't realize is Vanessa loves that story. When she flats the 20K instead of jamming, she's saying, I have you in jail, and I'm letting you keep betting. With aces, she caps nothing, and Tony can't narrow her the way he thinks he can. Turn is where everything flips, and Tony doesn't feel it yet. So Tony keeps value betting for 10K.
You could shut me right up.
How?
Well, by being all in and winning the pot.
Punch in the face.
Just push a button?
Thinking he can still get called by worse and charge flush draws. But in reality, he's now drawing almost dead against boats and nutty slow plays, and Vanessa has him in a spot where calling is mandatory and raising is unnecessary. Full house versus full house is where bankrolls go bankrupt because nobody folds boats to one bet emotionally.
Now you got to show some guts. Can you bet this, or you're going to make a really weak check now on the end? Go on, Vanessa, you can do it.
All in.
Call.
Ace is full.
Wow, very nice. That's the best. Very nice.
You got screwed?
I got a full house too on the end.
Wow.
And a flush draw. That's it. That shut me up. Well done, Vanessa.
Vanessa doubles through.
I got lucky, obviously.
Not really. I mean, it's...
We took turns getting lucky. I got lucky to get the aces, you got lucky on the flop, I got lucky on the turn.
I haven't won one hand when I've been good, so.
Daniel Negreanu looks down to King 10 offsuit, a hand with decent equity in a 4-way pot. Against him is Elizabeth Houston, who opens to a Queen Jack offsuit. Let's see who will the poker gods bless this time.
See that? Cheap flop.
Reynolds folds.
Also makes it easier to call this 3-bet from Tony G.
He raises to 2,000. Queen Jack for the cannon. She calls out of position. So does Daniel.
And like that, Williams built himself his own little pot odds.
He calls 2. 4-person party to the flop.
The flop comes 8 Queen Jack Rainbow, which is perfect for Houston. She is looking at top 2 pair with no danger of a flush and only a potential straight or a pocket pair being in her way. Her odds look great, but I think she should have bet harder before Negreanu had a chance to see more of the community cards.
I fold.
Thank you, William.
With the bet sizing being insufficient, even Tony G with his mid pair of jacks that have 2% equity will make the call. The turn delivers the 4 of spades. Things couldn't have been better for Houston. Pocket 4s would have probably folded, same as the pocket 6s from earlier, but she is still afraid of the flush and straight draw. That's why she fires a bet for a bit over half the pot, which I think will be yet again not enough to get Negreanu off his hand.
Daniel's checking out her stack, knowing she probably has something strong enough to lose it all if he does make the nuts.
Negreanu casually calls her $15,000 bet as predicted. But at least Tony G and his adventuristic jacks are gone. Now let's see what the turn will bring for Negreanu. And it is the ace. What a cooler this will be at the end.
That's Daniel's gin card, and this could get ugly for the cannon. I expect her to bet here.
Now she checks.
Somehow she knew to slow down. Daniel's got the nuts. Let's see how much he thinks she'll pay off.
50.
If Elizabeth has watched the show at all, she would know Daniel doesn't bluff raise the river very often. No one does.
If Elizabeth makes this call, she'll have less than 30,000 remaining in her stack.
Call.
Ouch.
She sees it.
Damn it.
Maria Ho is looking down on King 9 suited. She limps the button, which already tells you her plan to keep ranges wide and let him put himself in a bad position post-flop. Ike makes it 230K from the blind. That's classic heads-up logic. Punish the limp, isolate, take control with position post-flop. The problem is, Maria's hand actually plays great versus that sizing, and her call means Ike is now in the blender with a weak, dominated hand in a bloated pot. This flop is basically nightmare equity mapping for Ike. He flops trips if he's Maria, but he's not Maria, she is. He just pairs his 6. With that texture, from Ike's perspective, he's going to get called by worse a lot if he bets, and he's also repping strong, so he continuation bets 175K. That C-bet with middle pair is him kind of value protecting and denying equity versus overcards. Maria just calls. She doesn't raise, and that flat is so evil. If she raises the flop, Ike can sometimes hero fold hands and avoid lighting the rest of the clip on fire. By just calling, she keeps in literally everything he can keep barreling with. He shuts down. He checks. That check is him saying, okay, maybe I don't need to blast with just a 6 here. Let's control. Maria bets 310K into that check. That sizing is nasty because it forces Ike to start making real decisions with a bluff catcher, and it continues the story that she could just be stabbing after he gave up on the king. From Ike's point of view, her line still looks super wide. She can absolutely be floating with air and now trying to win it. So Ike calls. The river pairs the 6. That is the cruel part. Ike goes from, I have 2 pair, I'm bluff catching, to wait, I've got a full house now, 6 is full of 9s. I actually beat random bluffs and counterfeited 9s that didn't improve. His hand upgrades in his mind. He checks, planning to catch, and Maria just rips it in.
And she shoves on Ike!
I want to make a really big fold here. I think you have it.
5 seconds.
Yeah, okay. Time to look either real smart or real dumb. Ugh, that was gross.
Phil Ivey is looking down on ace-9 offsuit. Pre-flop, this is a very normal configuration for a tough final table. Ivey opens from early position with a hand that is comfortably ahead of the blind's defending range and plays well post-flop in position. In the big blind, Quas defends ace-5 offsuit. He is getting a good price. He closes the action, and against an elite but wide opener like Ivey, ace-x with a wheel card is a perfectly reasonable defend, even though it will be dominated sometimes. The flop comes one of those low, disconnected boards where the pre-flop raiser still has the range advantage, but the big blind has all the weird 2-pair and straight combos. Quas checks his overcard plus gut shot, and Ivey fires 80,000. With 2 overcards to the board, some backdoor possibilities, and a huge image, his continuation bet will fold out a lot of total air and small pocket pairs. Quas's call with ace-5 is very standard. He has ace-high, 4 to a wheel, and he keeps Ivey's range wide. The turn adds more straight possibilities and a second heart, but does not actually improve either hand. Quas checks a second time, and Ivey now taps the table back. That check is important. By declining to barrel, Ivey controls the pot with what is often just ace-high and also keeps his range looking a bit capped. The river ace changes everything. Both players finally make top pair, but Ivey's 9 kicker quietly crushes Quas's 5. Quas checks a third time and Ivey goes for value with 150,000. The story he tells is very believable. Missed spade draws and random floats bluffing, or an ace that played pot control on the turn and now bets for value. Sitting there with ace-5, having seen Ivey check back the previous street, Quas is almost forced to pay it off. Daniel Negreanu is looking down on Jack-9 suited. He opens to $3,000 on the button, a classic small ball steal that also invites dominated jacks and queens to continue. Doyle Brunson flat calls in the small blind with Queen-Jack suited, a smooth defend that keeps Negreanu's range wide and retains post-flop maneuverability.
Well, that's a lot of money out there, baby. A lot of money out there.
Don't get you some.
Troy Wiggins completes in the big blind with pocket 4s for set value, and the stage is set. Brunson, holding top pair with a strong kicker, declines to bet into 2 players on a coordinated texture because checking keeps Negreanu's bluffs alive and avoids building a pot where he could be outkicked or check raised by club draws. The paired board reduces semi-bluffs, and Doyle seizes the lead for $8,000. From his seat, Negreanu's flop check capped him toward medium strength and draws, so Doyle's stab is designed to extract from worse jacks and to tax the clubs and queen-10 tight gutters. Negreanu calls rather than raise. The flat keeps the pot manageable against a range that still contains ace-jack or king-jack, keeps Doyle's bluffs and thin value hands firing, and leverages position to make the final decision with maximum information. This river is a sneaky upgrade for Negreanu to 2-pair, while a large chunk of Doyle's range remains 1 pair of jacks. Doyle checks, signaling showdown mode rather than a polarized line. Negreanu now turns the knobs. His hand cleanly targets queen-jack and king-jack, while very rarely running into a slow-played full house on this sequence.
Biggest hand I've had.